Police traffic stop turned deadly. When Officer James Miller started his shift, the streets were empty and the night was still. He anticipated it would be unremarkable, much like many evenings in the little town of Pineville, with routine patrols and maybe the odd traffic stop. But this night would be very different from the rest. Soon after, what appeared to be a normal traffic check by the police turned deadly, forever altering lives. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today's video is a difficult one as we delve into the tragic outcome of a police traffic stop that turned deadly. It's a heartbreaking reminder of the dangers that can arise during routine encounters with law enforcement. So let's jump right into the details. All of it started at around 10 o'clock at night when Officer Miller saw a car on Main Street swerving between lanes. It was an old beat-up automobile that looked like it had been driven by a drunk person. Miller made the decision to stop the car out of concern for other drivers' safety. He motioned for the car to halt by turning on his lights and sirens. In compliance, the driver pulled over to the side of the road. Miller stepped closer to the car as he'd been taught to do. With the inside lighted by his flashlight, the young man in his 20s behind the wheel could be seen. The driver had bloodshot eyes and the car had a slight alcohol odor coming from it. With trembling hands, the young man gave Miller his license and registration when Miller requested for them. Brian Thompson was his name and he lived in the area without having a serious criminal history. "Have you been drinking tonight, Mr. Thompson?" Miller questioned in a composed yet commanding tone. Brian paused, then gave a small nod. He said, "I had a few beers at my friend's house." Miller sighed. "I'm going to need you to step out of the vehicle and perform a field sobriety test." Anxiety clenched Brian's cheeks, but he obeyed. It was evident that Brian was intoxicated as Miller administered the exam. Miller told him to turn around and put his hands behind his back after notifying him that he was being placed under arrest for DUI. Miller made an effort to soothe him. "Brian, it is necessary that you assist. You're merely aggravating the situation for yourself." But terror grabbed hold of Brian. He escaped Miller's hold with a swift, desperate dash back to his automobile. With his pulse pounding, Miller used his radio to request assistance. Though he was aware that he had to stop Brian from running, he was unprepared for what transpired next. Reaching into his car, Brian retrieved a revolver from the glove box. Shaking hands, he aimed it at Miller. With his voice breaking, he yelled, "I can't go to jail." Miller pulled out his own gun, his training taking effect. Brian stopped with the pistol. "You must put down the pistol right away so that we can resolve this." There was a noticeable tension. The young man and the cop were in a standoff that broke up the peaceful night. It looked as though Brian might give it some attention. Tears were running down his face as he lowered the rifle a little, but then he started to panic again when he saw the backup's red and blue lights flashing. Officer Miller had to make a decision that could have cost him his life in that instant as he raised the gun once more. A gunshot echoed through the darkness. Brian hit the floor and grabbed his chest. Miller ran to him, feeling the hammering of his own heart in his chest. With trembling in his voice, he requested an ambulance. Shots were fired. "Put the suspect down. We urgently require medical aid." When backup police came and took control of the situation, Brian was already too late. As he lay there on the earth, his life was ebbing away. Miller bent down next to him, sensing the gravity of the situation. Although he had taken all the necessary precautions to keep himself and others safe, the death toll was difficult to accept. Officer Miller was ultimately found not guilty of any crimes. According to the findings of the investigations, he had acted in self-defense and in accordance with his training. But the event left Miller and the town with long-lasting scars. He went back to work, but that night's recollection followed him. He frequently caught himself mentally reliving the incidents and questioning whether there was anything he could have done to avert the terrible conclusion. The incident involving the fatal traffic stop served as a sobering reminder of how hazardous and unpredictable police job can be. It brought attention to the snap decisions that law enforcement must make and the serious repercussions that may ensue. As the community mourns the loss of a life cut short, we're left with more questions than answers. Our thoughts are with the family of the driver and the residents of the neighborhood grappling with the aftermath of this tragic event. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching.